Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We just did a live with Alan and I was chatting with Freddie. And he is going to hop on and join us and talk a little bit, of course, about Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip and Caroline allegedly leaving early and Brandy allegedly leaving early and what could have possibly have transpired between these women that would have them leaving the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip early. I'm also going to give you guys a few minutes to get into the room. That way everyone is in the room. This was an unexpected video, like I said. Freddie and I were chatting, and he said he would hop on for a few minutes and give us some tea about what his people are telling him as it pertains to the Real Housewives and all the gossip that he's getting on his end about Caroline and the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip and Brandy. So we are just kind of waiting on Freddie. If you guys have any questions, of course you can put them in the chat. Hey Yo-Yo, hey Pamela, thanks for chatting, coming along. Sorry, I'm reaching to get my lipstick. I'm excited to chat with him. Freddie always has such good tea. What did he say? Hold on. It says he went something about Andy too. He might have some really good tea. I wonder if he's here yet. There he is. He's here.
Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you? We're so happy
I'm
to
very well, thank you.
Good. I've been excited to see him. Like, Freddie's coming and he's about to tell us all the tea. So everyone get ready. Get your notepads out. Take
Perfect.
notes.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, there's so much to this Caroline and Brandi. There's so much to talk about.
Tell us everything. Start from the beginning and don't leave anything out.
Brilliant. Okay. Oh, we're live. I didn't even realize we were live. But hey, everyone who's on. My thing is with the whole thing is that you do have to look at where this source came from. And the person that wrote the article for people saying that it was to do with this kissing thing was a guy called Dave Quinn. Now, Dave Quinn works for Andy Cohen. He wrote the Diamonds and All Diamonds Rose book. I think he's done another couple of books for Andy Cohen as well. And of course, he works for People magazine. So that means that this Dave Quinn guy, he has a loyalty to Andy Cohen and that he's going to write what Andy Cohen wants out there. Now, the thing is that he does value Caroline Manzo for some reason. He really wants her back on New Jersey, even though he's given us the most insulting offers possible, like giving her friend roles, which of course she's never going to be taking. And then does sort of want to protect her, I think. And I think the other thing is it's this whole issue with Dina and the Manzos and all of that, the domestic. I think Andy Cohen doesn't want that being brought up on the show. He doesn't want more light about that surrounding Bravo. So for me, I think what he's doing is he's bringing up the whole Kissgate drama, which, yes, it did happen. But I think what's happening here is that you've got Dave Quinn at People and Bravo that are trying to drum up drama, saying this is the sole reason. And they're trying to, and haven't we all noticed, they're really trying to discredit the fact that it had anything to do with the fact that Brandi brought up Dina Manzo. There have been receipts. There have been a lot of reports that have said that Brandi shouted out, "This is for Dina." So I'm not discrediting what people have said, but I don't think it's as big as a deal. I don't think it's this big role or what's summed everything up. I mean, for me, Caroline, she's part of the biggest mobster family in the world, allegedly. I mean, her dad was Tiny Manzo, and for those, he was one of the most notorious mobsters in New Jersey, and he was found dead in the back of his car, stabbed or shot or something like that. And
don't forget that there was something cut off and put in his mouth, and it wasn't his it was like, his
somewhere downstairs, I think, is probably the best way, is how we describe it in England.
Yes.
I don't know how you describe it in America, but that's probably the most appropriate way that we could describe it.
And they put it in his mouth. And they said that the police, he drove a Cadillac, but they called him tiny, but he weighed like 500 pounds. And
I think they did that for sarcasm. There was like a sarcastic effect, and it was like playing around with the opposites. He was called tiny because he was obese.
Yes.
And was one burger away from death, allegedly.
Yes.
But I think Caroline, she loves playing this whole, mobster act, obviously. She doesn't take nonsense either. So I think if Brandy even got this close to her face, let's be honest, Manzo would not be having any of that nonsense. She would have kicked Brandy to the curb. She would have sent Brandy back to where she belongs, licking the floor of Walmart to try and get another role on another Housewives show, or to get on Beverly Hills or something like that. That's my theory.
You are so funny, Freddie, licking the floor of Walmart.
He did. I have said this a few times, but I genuinely believe that at this stage, Brandy Glanville would do absolutely whatever it takes to get on one of these shows. Well, particularly Housewives, obviously, because she has been doing well in terms of the reality TV department this year, because she did that other show with that Kate Chastain woman from Below Deck, and the Reza Farhan one that was filmed actually in Scotland, wasn't it? It wasn't filmed in America. It was filmed in Scotland, apparently.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But it's not come out in the UK yet. But I was talking about it with Dana Wilkie on Dishing Drama with Dana Wilkie on a podcast the other day, because I'd heard stuff about it. But yeah, I've never seen it. But Brandy, she seems to be doing well. But we all know one thing that she's desperate for is Housewives, and she is just not getting it. Andy just doesn't value her enough. He's not convinced yet. And I think Brandy's trying to do everything. And actually, what Brandy's done for herself now is they've kicked her off. She is back to more or less square one or two to try and get back onto the Housewives show, because it's like, yeah, this is why we fired you. You are volatile. You are a nutcase. You may allegedly have a severe drinking problem. And you've not got over the fact that your husband constantly cheated on you and left you for Leanne Rimes, and you've never sought the necessary help to deal with that after that. And I think this is the main reason why Brandy does act this way. But she does, because it is jeopardizing her employability and her job opportunities, particularly in the TV world, particularly with people like Andy Cohen.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I almost wonder if producers take advantage of that, because just like with the whole Denise story, if that Denise storyline wouldn't have came out, there would have been no storyline for Beverly Hills that year. Like, there was nothing else going on except for Brandy telling the story about Denise. And she did that, and they promised her to come back next season, and she got screwed. I think they screw her. I think that she does drink. She's tipsy. She is broke, so she'll take whatever she can get, and they know it. She's cheap drama.
I mean, it's like Andy Cohen knows that he can always go to some, like, one of those, what's it called, wholesale shops, and get Brandy like a crate of vodka, and knows that he can use that as payment to get her on another season, to give him some free drama, and he can take all the profit.
Yes.
That's what it feels like anyway.
It does. You're right. 100%.
But she makes herself cheap is the issue, though. She's too willing to give this drama out. That's the problem with her. She doesn't make Andy Cohen think that she's valuable and she's got a lot to add to then make him think, actually, I want to pay her good money to have her on so she can expose this stuff. If she'd done a better job at saying she had that tea over Denise Richards, but wasn't really giving anything away, but was selling it in a way that Andy Cohen knew that this would be what it turned out to be, is a lot of great ratings and stuff for the show. I think he would have paid her more money, but because Brandy's one of these people, she can't zip her mouth for 5 seconds. This is exactly why she's cheap to get. And she always will be if she never addresses this issue.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think you're right. She doesn't even value herself. It just comes along, like she just comes along, like ready to just make a paycheck whenever Bravo says put a microphone on. You know?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I mean, for me with Brandy, it's going to be interesting to see where she goes from here now that she's been kicked off a Real Housewives of Ultimate Girls trip. I'm going to be interested to see how this whole season plays out, because we're seeing returning people already. A lot of the people from, the second ex-wives club at Dorinda's house where she was wanting to be a dictator. You've got Phaedra back, you've got Eva back, you've got Brandy back. Who else? Vicky's back.
Right.
And things like that. Like, we've seen them, and I'm not against bringing those people back for another ex-wives club, but already, like, that soon, like, really, Andy Cohen, could you have not worked a bit harder to maybe get some other ex-housewives to be part of this, like a completely new lineup, rather than bringing some of the same faces onto the show? And at the end of the day, with Vicky, I was in a way a bit surprised that she did end up coming, due to the fact that she is going to be on Orange County. Now, supposedly she's only going to be a guest at the show, but realistically, apparently, we're going to see her more as if she's in a friend role type of capacity, based on the fact that it was such a slow, boring start. Orange County. Andy went, oh my God, we need more. And he begged Vicky to do some filming with Shannon Bedore and Tamra. And that's how he's got her on. But that, either way, that's why I was surprised. Do they really want Vicky on both ex-wives and on Orange County? Now, the same thing goes for Phaedra Parks. She's allegedly meant to be going on to Married to Medicine. Now, based on the fact that Bravo have been ridiculously slow at releasing these the Ultimate Girls trip, I mean, they released the trailer for the, third series of Ultimate Girls trip, the one that they do in Thailand. We haven't even seen a trailer for that. We've only been shown, you only showed a trailer to people that spent ridiculous amounts of money at BravoCon. Why haven't we got a trailer? How the hell do we not have a release date for season 3? And yet you're already out, you're filming the 4th season, you're talking about that, and yet you haven't even got plans, or you don't even really know what you're doing with the 3rd season.
Yeah.
I mean, it's poor management.
Yes.
And the casting, I think, on this is really, really awful. You're going to actually be seeing people who you're saying are ex-wives, but they are on sort of main Bravo shows now. I just wouldn't have done that personally.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. Go ahead.
And what's the other thing with, I'm trying to think, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, with Caroline Manzo. I don't think we could be, I think after this whole thing, I'm not sure we'll see her on TV really, on Bravo anyway.
I
I
agree.
think at the end of the day, Andy Cohen has not offered her what she wanted on Bravo. He's, offered her sort of low ball offers for it. She got the opportunity to do Ultimate Girls Trip. She left early. She couldn't cope with that. And the reality is, with a reality TV show, you do have desperate, thirsty people like Brandy Glanville that are on those shows. And that's the deal when you sign up to a show like that. You do have to deal with them, and you can't just walk away from that. And although the producers may have backed Caroline Manzo in the terms of the fact that they kicked Brandy out and stuff, they will really be mad at the fact that Caroline decided to leave early. That's just an absolute no-no for them. It sort of ruins the dynamics of the groups. It doesn't make the numbers equal. The scenes that they've pre-planned maybe as well, it does cause a lot of chaos. So I think in terms of that, you'll have production that is angry, Andy Cohen that's angry. So I really do question exactly what role we could see Caroline Manzo ever being on a reality TV show. Certainly, I will say on the Bravo network again.
Ugh.
I mean, what are you sort of thinking about? What's your theory on that, Lindsay, as well?
I don't think that Caroline said she's a high priced item, that she has bombs on Teresa. She's not scared to go back to New Jersey and drop all the bombs that she has, but she's a high priced item and Bravo doesn't want to pay her. And she feels like she knows that Teresa's making good money because she's been, there since the beginning, and she thinks that she needs to be somewhere around that is the assumption that she kind of like made about the payment. But I don't think she'll ever come on because, one, the whole Dina thing, Caroline gets a lot of hate for writing that letter in support of Dina's ex-husband over the home invasion. She gets a lot of hate from that. And I think that her husband had a long time affair, allegedly. He had a mistress. That wasn't an uncommon thing for mobsters and men,
Who,
in those
Caroline's
days.
husband?
Yes, and it was about to come out when that's why she sort of stepped off of New Jersey. And if you remember, I think she had like a spinoff. It was like Manzo and Family
Yeah,
or
she had that for
something.
about 2 or 3 seasons, and that got cancelled.
Yeah.
It was a known fact that Dina's ex-husband, he was known to be sleeping with a lot of the waitresses at the Brownstone, allegedly. It's
Oh,
Brownstone, isn't it?
yes.
I think I called it the Flintstone on one live by accident. It's the Brownstone, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, either way, Dina's ex-husband was allegedly cheating on quite a lot of the waitresses. And I actually think Kim D actually also verified that on David Yontef's podcast as well. So
yes. Listen, Dina and her husband were on a VH1 episode of My Big Fat Wedding. It's practically been scrubbed from the internet, but there are small clips and pictures that you can find. And Dina basically cried the entire time. And like Caroline consoled her. He didn't act like he wanted to get married very much. Like, he bought her expensive things. The wedding costs, I mean, it was very, very, very expensive because it was on, the series for MTV. And you could tell they weren't a couple that were very much in love. And even on the show, she says that he had cheated on her in the past and they worked through it. And that was before they even got married.
but yeah, I mean, it is interesting with Dina's ex-husband. He's never gone to prison, actually, for being responsible for the attack on Dina and Dave Cantin.
He hasn't went to trial yet. His trial date keeps getting postponed. He's actually out on bond.
I mean, to me, that's very suspicious that it seems to be getting delayed. He's still not gone to prison. I mean, Jen Shah's trial has gone through quicker, which is a whole telemarketing thing that the FBI were investigating for like the last 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, Tiny Manzo's son or grandson, whatever he is, seems to be getting it delayed like for another 2 years or so.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, you know that there's like 5 major Italian mafia families that came in through New York City as immigrants to the United States, and they ran the entire mob. Those 5 major families, like the Gambinos,
Yeah.
and I think and they were attached to one of those major 5 families. So they have a lot of connections of powerful people. Governor
Yeah.
Christie.
Oh yeah, the governors. Oh, the governors and the senators, they're all buyable there in America. So yeah, there's known fact in New York and New Jersey allegedly that they're all like bought by people, because it was known in New York. All the mobsters, didn't they have their different blocks in New
Yes.
York and stuff?
Yes.
They were the ones that controlled it and everything
Yes.
like that. I mean,
Yes.
and for me, this is exactly why Caroline acted as if she was tiny Manzo on the Real Housewives of New Jersey, thinking she was the sort of the mob leader of the show.
She did. She
She
did.
did, and she was like, we're as thick as thieves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been an own goal for you, Caroline, because that's just, you're not. You threw your sister under the bus because you're selfish. And I think the problem with Caroline is she's never, I think she's all talk with no bite, realistically, with New Jersey. I think she's like, yeah, I'm going to come. Yeah, Bravo's spoken to me. She's not going to be coping, because we all know Teresa's going to ask her about Dina. No doubt you're going to have Jennifer Aiden in there asking about it. And now you've got other people that are Teresa supporters, like Danielle Cabrali and all of that. They're going to ask Cara. Well, actually, she's got some weird relation. I think it's something like her step sister or step brother is married to Caroline's sister's husband, or it was a connection like that.
Yes. Yes. It was a connection like that. Yes, you're correct. Yep.
But yeah, I still think Danielle Cabrali would probably, if Caroline Manzo was on, would ask the questions. And Caroline, I really believe, would run away from it. She's just not going to answer it. She refuses to talk about Dina. She refuses what's going on about her brother-in-law. And I think Bravo would just find her too difficult. They've got no content. She'd have no storyline. And at the end of the day, when you've got people like Jackie Goldschneider and Melissa Gorga, who never seem to have a storyline. Actually, granted, Jackie did last season. But Melissa, I mean, she's the worst. She never has a bloody storyline other than looking for the next opportunity to throw Teresa under the bus. But, do they really want to pay someone else to not have much of a storyline? Oh, yeah, they've got Dolores. She doesn't really have much of a storyline either. Well, actually, I think she will this season, but she hasn't for a while. But Melissa, Dolores, that they've had for ages, that never gave a storyline. Why would they want Caroline Manzo on, who's just going to be guarded? She's not going to talk about her family life because it's all dodgy and there's all loads of bad stuff happening. She's going to be a waste of time.
Yeah.
And the way Bravo are going is they don't want to be paying these big salaries that like they used to. They're not they're not planning to be paying these new people they're bringing on like the $1 million a year paychecks and stuff. Those days are over. And they're bringing in younger women that are cheaper, that want to be on this show. And Caroline Manzo is just not one of those people. She's not young. She wants to be paid the big money that Bravo aren't really willing to do. And I think Andy Cohen and I think a lot of the producers realistically know that Caroline is going to be guarded and she's not going to share anything.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. I don't think producers, I think this was just their chance just to see, because there's been so much whispering about Caroline Manzo and like Melissa commenting on her post. And then people talking about it. And I feel like Bravo sends women that they're kind of like, they send them on the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip to see how the audience reacts to them. And then they say, oh, okay, Taylor, you can come on Real Housewives of Orange County as a
I mean,
friend
I
of.
wasn't impressed with Taylor. I thought she was still boring.
Yeah.
But mind you, Orange County is such a snooze fest anyway. I mean, can you get anyone even more boring anyway? I mean, Taylor actually could be a small improvement.
It's embarrassing. Orange County is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
I would take Andy Cohen's job and do it for like $1 million a year. And he gets paid like 15 or $18 million a year. And it's like, what the hell do you do? What do you have at the moment to show for that? In my personal opinion, not Lindsay's opinion, my opinion. And I just don't think he's really doing that great a job for the money he gets paid. And I think there are a lot of people that would do a better job and that would do it for a fraction of the money.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree with you. I think he should OC, they should just get rid of everybody. I mean, I can't, if you're gonna try to bring Vicky back on top of Tamra, you're just trying to recreate the last 13 years. That's all that we're gonna see. I don't know. I'm not interested in Vicky's love life. It's just not for me. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but not something I'm interested in at all.
And what do you think? How do you think Alex McCord's going to work in this season of the Ultimate Girls Trip? I mean, how do we think that she's going to immerse it? What side she going to be on around this Caroline and Brandi conflict? I'm really interested to see how she's going to react to it. What's she going to think of Brandi trying to kiss Caroline and all this type of stuff?
I know. I don't know.
To me, I always saw Alex McCord as a bit of as emotionally very insecure. She brought her husband everywhere. I mean, that to me was incredibly bizarre. Like, who brings their husband on a girls' night? It's girls only. It's not bring the husbands. It's like if I go on a lads' night out to the pub, it's not bring your girlfriends along as well. It's a lads' night for a sole reason. But McCord seems to be very weird and she doesn't really understand that. So, and then there was an alleged rumor actually about the husband. I think actually he might have admitted to it. So allegedly he masturbated whilst she was giving birth to one of their children. Allegedly, there was a whole rumor about that. And it was making the rounds on social media, and someone sent a message to Vicky Gunvalson about this, and Vicky replied to them saying, "Oh, completely forgot, but noted." So I'm going to be interested to see if Vicky Gunvalson says anything about this to Alex McCord. I'm going to be interested in Caroline and Brandi's response. I reckon Phaedra's going to be just really funny as always about it and just be like, girl, or something like that. But yeah, I mean, if she's got this weird mentality with her husband, yeah, I think I'm going to be, I can't work out what her position is going to be on this show.
I know. I feel the same way. I can't tell which way she's gonna sway because we haven't seen her for a long time. But it could put her over the edge. I thought she would be the one that would freak out and leave before Brandi or Caroline, to be honest.
I think do you think that was because she did New York, she left in after season 3 or 4, I think it was.
It wasn't very long, yeah.
Yeah, she was only there for the first 3 or 4, maybe 5 at a push seasons. Yeah. And then they moved to Australia.
Yes.
Moved to Australia, and she's sort of kept a low profile since then. She's not really gone and watched what happens live. She's, not been she's not really done anything on Instagram. She's not one of those people that partners with brands. I think she's got a
Mhm.
doctorate degree now as well. So to me, it seems that she's been studying, she's been raising her children and keeping her head down. And for me, my question is that why has she taken this massive break? And what's made Alex McCord suddenly decide that she wants to step back into the whole Bravo metaverse and wants to step back into the limelight?
I don't think she ever had an invite before. I think Bravo forgot about her, to be honest. But Bravo fans being who they are, they have favorites. They remember people. I started to see Alex pop up on Instagram here and there. And then all of a sudden she was asked to do the Real House Ultimate Girls trip. And I think that she just never really had the invitation before because she wasn't close with like Ramona. Like she doesn't talk to any of them. You don't ever see her ever at events running into anyone. Like she just kind of fell off. We didn't see her at all
Well, I
anymore.
think it's because she moved to Australia. She wasn't somewhere that was
Yeah.
that close or that accessible. Because it's not like she lives in Sydney. She had said she has to do like billion. Uh, who's Alex? I'm really lost. Oh
Alex.
yeah. Alex McCord. Sorry, I'm still my brain's frazzled from work. Yeah, she is weird, Alex McCord.
She is. She is. And I
Um,
think that's why they stepped back from the limelight because I almost feel like there's weird stuff that could potentially be going on. And I think that she didn't want all of that aired. You know what I mean? Like she was like, we need to step back. We don't need the money.
and he
You know.
does seem quite creepy, the husband. Like, and I'm
Yeah.
not trying to actually even be shady on purpose or to get laughs or anything. I don't know. There's something about him that you just see him and you think, oh, he's a bit shifty. And I
Yeah.
can't really put my finger on it
Yeah.
as to why I feel that way. I just do.
Uh-huh. I know. I agree with you 100%. He kind of reminds me of Angie's husband from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, the one that made the Finsta account, because he kind of creeps me out too.
To
Anthony
me,
Harris.
Alex's husband goes, I find him, I get what you mean completely, Lindsay. I do find Alex's husband, he has that edge more of creepiness than the fat elf on the shelf, whatever. Angie Harrington's husband's, what's his name even?
I don't even know his
Or
name.
Exposed or something like that. So
Yeah, Shaw Exposed.
did we even find out what his name is?
No, do we even care what his name is?
All we knew is that he got called the fat elf on the shelf by Jen, which was
Right.
so funny.
And it stuck.
And then it's just stuck with me.
Yeah.
Chris. His name's Chris Harrington. I don't know. I just realized. I
Yes.
remembered. Yeah, we did find. But where were we with Yeah, we were with Alex McCord, weren't we? And
Mhm.
for me though, it is still weird. It just doesn't make sense because Alex would have been in a position that even if she had not been in contact with the New York people, she still could have got good social media management teams, PR teams to keep her in the limelight.
I see what you're saying.
And she never did. She never really. I mean, even if you look at her Instagram, she's not someone that regularly uploaded either. She's like,
Mhm.
oh, here's me doing the school run with my kids type of thing. And
Yeah.
it's like if you're someone that's trying to get it, you don't really make those types of things. So my thing has Alex maybe chosen to come back into the limelight because she's got no choice, in that maybe they've got money issues, maybe she wants to get divorced, I don't know. But for me, I do find it incredibly weird why she takes this break. She never was really trying to be in the public eye after she left Real Housewives of New York, and she's suddenly just popped up and decided this is what she wants to do.
Yeah, I think you could be right. I'm like kind of scrolling and looking to see what I can just pop up on her. She does have her master's in psychology. Her husband, it says, why did they move to Australia? It just says she moved there with her children. It doesn't really give a reason, but
He's Australian. I believe he's Australian.
yeah, she hasn't been doing much of anything.
I think isn't one of them Australian and isn't she Alex, I think, is British.
Is she?
One of them is British and I think one of them's Australian or something, or one of them's part Australian, part British or something like that. But yeah, like
Yes.
we never.
He's Australian. His name is Simon Van Kempen, and he is Australian.
And then they lived in Britain or something before they lived in New York. And I'm trying to remember. She seemed to have an American accent, so I don't remember. Was she British or was she part British? I don't know.
I don't know. Hold on 1 second. Someone's at my door. I'm so sorry. 1 second.
Oh, don't worry. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, no, that is a very good question. I am questioning why he's so suspicious and why Alex is back on this show. It really isn't making sense to me. And I see this as I actually am going to message Alex. I think I've decided, and I will ask her why she's suddenly appeared out of nowhere, because it really isn't making any sense to me whatsoever. It just doesn't make sense. Someone needs to make it make sense for us, quite frankly. And is Lindsay coming back? Because I don't want to step into another type of conversation or somewhere if that's the direction that she doesn't really want to be going. So, does anyone in the chat, if they're on the chat, want to say anything as to what is happening or what they want me to uncover? Because of Lindsay not being here at the moment. Oh, Pam asks a good question. I think there are two situations, I think, here. I think in terms of the situation with Dina, I definitely believe that the women took Brandy's side on this because Dina was treated horribly. But in terms of this whole kissing thing, and that Brandy was sort of acting without consent and was more or less violating Caroline Manzo's space, I really believe that the women would have probably have taken Caroline's side on that for sure, because we all know how these things work. Even with Beverly Hills, the whole violation thing was just such a whole massive situation as well.
I'm back. I'm sorry.
I was wondering where you'd headed.
Dropping my daughter off. I didn't expect so early. I was like, who's at my door? Oh, my daughter. She's home. Yay. Where were you at? Talking Beverly Hills, your expertise, Freddie?
We were talking about I just went ask some questions because of about whose side I thought that the women took, Brandy or Caroline's. And I said I think both, but for different reasons. I think they would have taken Brandy's side over the whole situation that's allegedly happened, with Brandy sort of confronting Caroline over her treatment of Dina. But then I think the women are then going to take Caroline's side over the fact that Brandy, was doing, trying to kiss Caroline Manzo without consent and was sort of violating her space.
Yeah. I don't know. Is like Dina and Brandy friends or something? Because think about it. They're both out there in California. Dina lives out in California now, and I think she lives close to the Malibu area, and that's like the vicinity of Brandy Glanville. And I just wonder.
I understood that Dina lived more Orange County area.
Okay. Well, I mean, and where's Brandy?
I mean, I'm not sure. I will look into this.
Yeah.
But from what I understood, she lived And it wasn't like Newport Beach, but it was like that area of
Okay.
California rather than the Los Angeles, Malibu, like
Okay.
sort of like the other side of LA.
Yeah. Awesome. Are you ever gonna come to? Do you come to? Do you travel to the United States? I know you're like a very well-rounded traveler, but do you ever make it here to the
I
United
have been,
States?
I've been to America before.
Yeah.
I've been to Disney World.
Nice.
I'm Florida.
Nice.
I went
Nice.
to Miami when I was really young.
Okay.
But no, I haven't. I do plan to, I mean, I was meant to go to New York with my family for 5 days, and then obviously the pandemic hit, and like we tried to go on 2 occasions, and it just never worked out. And then like after the pandemic, like I was still in university, and then I had like my dissertation and stuff, like the final year of the degree.
Yeah.
And then my sister had like her, end of her school exams before, she finished school and then went off to university, college.
Yeah.
Um, and then now I finished college. I'm in a full-time job. Obviously, I can't just go on holiday whenever the heck I want. I
Congratulations.
get something like 27 days a year of holiday.
That's
So
a lot.
I know it is quite a lot,
That is
actually.
a lot.
But yeah, I do plan to come to America. I don't know when.
You should
I'm
time.
also planning on going to Dubai as well.
Oh,
I've
you
been to Dubai.
fancy. You fancy. I was just gonna say, I was like trying to think about putting like a trip together of like some like subscribers or creators and like putting it together and going to like LA or to BravoCon in New York. I thought that would be fun too.
What, and have subscribers come to BravoCon?
Yeah, if I like do like a little group, like a housewife historian, like type of like group of whoever,
I mean,
and
yeah. I mean, for me, I was so up for going to BravoCon, and then it was just
you wanted to go to BravoCon or you didn't?
I did want to go to BravoCon, and then it was just like the whole logistics of getting the holiday and like all of that, looking in the job stuff, and then I just was like, oh, what if I get a job and then I can't go and all of that stuff. So, but next year I really do plan on going to
Yeah.
BravoCon for sure.
I drove like 7 hours into the city, got dressed, went to Joe Gorga's stand up. Then we went to the Gavenport, the hotel where everyone was at for BravoCon Eve, and then literally went to bed for like 4 hours and had to make the drive home. So I was like in
Oh
New York,
wow.
yeah, for like 20 hours.
My
So
question is where do all the housewives stay when they're at BravoCon?
so that was my question too. And you know who I got the answer from? Do you remember the pool boy from the Real Housewives of New Jersey? Teresa's pool boy when she got
Yeah,
out of prison. You know who
yeah.
I'm talking about?
Yeah, I
He
know.
was there and I peeped him. So I was like, hello, Mr. Poolman. How are you? Is this seat taken? And so I found out they stayed at the Gavenport. That was the hotel. And he actually texted Melissa while I was sitting there to see where they were going afterwards. And so that's how I ended up there because that's where they were at. Bravo had like rented out the hotel and it was all like the rooftop bar was only like Bravo people and like their stylists and their spouses the night
But
before
if you know a
BravoCon.
housewife, you might be able to go
What you
there. If a
Yeah, I mean,
housewife, oh, luckily, that could work in my favor, actually.
oh yeah, like when we got there, we happened to get there the same time as Melissa and Joe and their entourage because Melissa was already there. And the lady was telling them, like, it's closed, we're not letting any more people up. And Joe Gorga doesn't accept that. So he was like telling her whatever. So she like walked away and then she came back and opened the door. And I just went along like I was part of the group. So I was there. I made it in.
That is good. That is great news. I definitely plan to go.
You do.
I am definitely plan to go to BravoCon. I would like to know sooner rather than later, just so I can book my package of my flight, my hotel and stuff.
Absolutely. See, I don't think that you can stay at the same hotel that the Housewives stay at. I think that like BravoCon like rents it out to strictly Bravo people.
Not if you know a friend that owns the hotel.
That's true. Oh, okay.
I'm joking. I don't know what hotel it is. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I mean, that's quite an expensive one to rent out a whole hotel. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they pay for it. I don't know if they rent out
is
like
that in Times Square or is that more
yeah,
like
it's like around like the art district is like we were because Joe Gorga was at Caroline's was what it was called, and it was like in the art district, and the Manhattan was right there because that's where I stayed, and it's all just downtown in Times Square, close to each other. But we should make like we should do that, and we should get like a couple creators together and try to. Well, I don't want to tell all of our secrets live, so I'll tell you after.
Oh, give me a call after the live if you've got time. Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah, I want to gatekeep it. So.
Yeah, same. I haven't booked, but all I'm saying is I haven't booked anything yet.
Okay. Well,
I do need to come to America though.
Yes, we would love to have you. We would love you to come to America so we can host you and show you all of the Housewives, show you New York City, and it would be fun. Just saying.
Yeah. I know, that would be amazing.
Yeah. But I really appreciate you coming on my show and giving all of the details on the Caroline and Brandi. Thank you so much. I didn't know all of the details. I knew some of it, so I appreciate it. You are like a brain of knowledge of Housewives, so we're always so thankful when you come on.
Well, I tried to be, and my advice to everyone would be don't always trust what you read and look at the sources as to who wrote the article and who benefits from what is being reported. And I think if you really look into the person that wrote that article for People magazine regarding the fight with Brandy and Caroline Manzo, you will see that it works in a certain head of Bravo's favor. That's what I'll say.
Okay. All right. That is a great perspective, though, about how you should look at things and how things benefit because they are in touch with these magazines like Page Six and Radar Online. They all sell and buy stuff from there.
And I think you need to remember, people got the exclusive that Rinna was being fired. People got the exclusive that Diana was definitely not coming back. I believe people may have done a thing about what Nina had to say about not coming back to Real Housewives of Dubai. People do seem to be getting a lot of exclusives from Bravo. And the fact that Dave Quinn works at People magazine, to me, just shows that they are in Andy Cohen's pockets.
Yes. That's a great. I actually didn't know that. I thank you for telling me that because I didn't know he was working for People. I didn't know that.
He was the one that did the article.
Wow, I was unaware of that. Thank you for telling us that, guys. David Quinn, he's the one that wrote the book that everyone was talking about with all of the details about Puppygate, and it held a lot of details. Rose, what was it called? Roses and Rose.
Not all diamonds and rose.
That's what it was. Yes. Wow. I didn't know he was working for People. That's crazy. Thank you for telling us that.
You're welcome.
I also know that Caroline's son Abby is that his name? Albie,
yeah.
He'll be doing a podcast on everything that's happening. So I'm going to make sure I listen to that and I'll send it to you on Instagram. Maybe we can chat about it next week or something.
Oh, what about Caroline and Brandi?
Yeah. He's going to talk about it because, he has to. He can't help himself.
But that'll be biased as well. So I'll have to find the other side to that
debate. Of course. Yeah, of course. It's always biased when he talks about his mom. So
it's like, oh, I love my mom.
Yeah.
Which we all do, and I don't blame Albie for that. But he is maybe overly biased. I just wouldn't get into. I don't think I would talk about Housewives and that situation if my mum were actually on any of these shows.
Yep, but it helps him get his ratings.
I mean, he just lives off his parents, I think. So yeah, I mean, he probably doesn't have much going on.
He doesn't.
No, exactly.
Oh, well, thank you again, Freddie. We really appreciate you and all of your, insight. And New Jersey is starting soon. That's my expertise. So I hope that you'll have a chance to come on because it's going to be hot this year. It's going to be good.
Definitely. I mean, Rachel Fooder already being exposed for being a little liar.
I know. Did you see the pictures of them doing the weight competitions? Like before the Housewives, like Rachel and Brittany and like Frank.
Yes.
And
yeah,
Frank.
That's how they met. Frank was Brittany and Rachel Fooder's personal trainer. And then there was the whole thing about how Rachel made her husband change the surname to Fooder. And she got really pissed off with Kim D for talking about that on David Yontev's podcast and stuff. And it was just, and then Rachel came up with a bunch of like really lame, just like really not viable excuses as to all of this type of stuff. So yeah, I'm going to be excited because I think we all know that more stuff is going to come out. And it also seems that Melissa has also dumped Tracy Lynn Johnson, the man thief woman.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up because I saw that.
Because she agreed with a comment that Caroline Rossio put up. Something, and Tracy responded, yes. But interestingly, Melissa and Tracy still follow each other. I did double check that.
How about Caroline Russo's comment about Teresa and Joe in the Dominican Republic? And it was a picture posted of them in the airport on the way home. And it was a comment from Caroline Russo. And she said that basically she knew that Joe left the hotel room and went and gambled all night and cheated on Melissa while she was upstairs with the kids. And that was a picture of them on their way home from their vacation and they looked miserable. And she put that on Instagram.
Oh, what, Caroline Rossio? I haven't seen. I've heard about it. I haven't seen the actual. Do you have a snapshot of the conversation?
I can probably find it for you.
Yeah, because I haven't seen the actual snapshot.
Yep,
Where did she comment it on? Do we know where she commented that on?
I don't know, but I think Love Gabriella caught it.
Oh yeah, I speak to Love Gabriella.
Me too. I love her.
Because she is I am allowed to say that she is also on Twitter. She is Melissa's old old nose. She is that account as well. Because I was like, oh, you write in a similar way to this account. Are you that person? And they were like, yeah, that's me as well.
Yeah. She I like her. She's always super cool with me. So I can screen. You want me to screen share it so you can see it yourself?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. And the difference is that we actually credit her, unlike other bloggers.
Can you give me Mama 1 second? Because I'm working, please. Huh? Can you give me 1 second, please? I know. Why don't you go watch your iPad in the living room? Mommy be in just a second, okay? Yeah. You got chocolate on your face. Can you go, Mommy, get you cleaned up and Mommy be out in 1 second, okay? Go see Daddy. Thank you. Okay, let me
show. That's the wrong screen.
I got you. Okay, it says, sorry, it's gonna load. It's behind. It says, she is 100% a puppet master because Melissa was the first one to comment. Amen. Meanwhile, she doesn't even know how to make sign of the cross properly. Okay, Christy No Balls attacks me, someone who they claim is nobody, but yet she's made an entire post about me. I'm sorry, but since when do you attack the victim who got cheated on? And second, that I went back at Melissa for saying amen because I happen to have knowledge of Joe cheating on her when they were on vacation in the Dominican Republic. When she was up in the room with the kids when they were young, Joe went to gamble and never came back to the room. Facts. So she can delete all she wants, but I'm going to put it on this site now because it's the truth. They keep coming for me, but yet I'm a nobody according to them. I'm a nobody who has an awful lot of information, factual information. So keep coming for me. I'm going to keep speaking the truth.
Who's Caroline referring to when she's saying she is 100% Melissa's puppet?
Don't Tree Fab. She's 100% Melissa's puppet master. Chrissy Balls. The Count Chrissy Balls.
Oh, but it's probably another finster of Melissa's, allegedly.
What? Yeah, it's that girl. She has blonde hair, short blonde hair. And she's like attacked Teresa for like a long time. And then she was coming for Caroline Rizzo. And then she was coming for the Gabriella account. So everybody, yeah, they think it's Melissa.
It wouldn't surprise me if it's Melissa or someone that works for Envy or something like that.
Yeah.
What frustrates me with Caroline Rossio is why didn't we see this side of her when she was on Real Housewives of New Jersey? Like, I messaged Caroline actually, and I was like, why didn't you seem to have you've got a lot to say. It's like really interesting. Like, it's such a shame that, you know, we really didn't get to know you on the show at all. She didn't. That's the reality. And I've said this to her already. And like, she agreed. She was like, yeah, like, you really didn't get to know me. But for me, I think it's more Bravo's fault. Like, why wasn't she allowed to get more involved in the show? Because she's got a lot of information and she would dog people like Marge, Melissa, and all these types of people out, which would make the show very interesting. And I just don't know why Andy has not wanted to cash in on that, maximize things.
I know. I don't know. I think they're just trying to keep giving Melissa that good edit, and they keeping that, you know, drama between Teresa and Melissa. That's the only thing that I can think of.
Yeah, sadly. I mean, I hope Caroline comes back.
Yeah.
I mean, I did say, like, do you think you will ever come back on? And she was like, you know, we'll have to wait and see. So you never know. That's all I will say.
Yeah, you don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me if Bravo are talking to her now.
Probably.
Because she does have a lot to say. And if she's like that, how she is on the way she is on Instagram, and that translates on the show, I think she'd be a very good housewife.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. I think so too. But do you remember when Teresa said she had a friend that was being interviewed for the Housewives, but her husband said, like, do you want me to go to prison? If you do, then we'll do the show. And if you don't want me to go to prison, then let's not do this show. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Sort of. I think that's her husband. And I think that's why she didn't pressure going on the show. And
they're getting divorced. They got divorced before she went on the show. Yeah.
No. Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me. I did not
know. You know, she might be divorced now, but they had filed for divorce just before she went on New Jersey.
Got you. Okay. Thank you for telling me that. I didn't know that. Freddie,
she's either she's either divorced, but she's certainly 100% separated.
Okay.
Because she did have a boyfriend called Salvador that she dated, and he was at Teresa's wedding. They've split up now. They've broken up now. But yeah, she has dated since, and she did have a boyfriend for quite a few months after she split. So
wow,
she's definitely single.
Stop. Well, thank you for letting me know that. I did not know that at all. You gave us a lot of information today, Freddie. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
But
Anyway.
I'm gonna have to hop off here because my child, she wants her mother. You know how that goes. So we always
Fair enough.
But I appreciate you coming on so much, Freddie. My subscribers, we all really, really love it when you come on. You give us such great tea, and maybe we'll chat soon.
Definitely. Well, it was lovely speaking to you, and lovely to see all the historian fans and subscribers and supporters too.
They all love you.
Yeah.
I'm just watching the chat. Bye, guys. Have a good day.
Bye.